Hey everybody, it's Hussein Kabani, your favorite broker. What I want to do in this video is I just want to take some time and kind of talk about the current state of the Toronto real estate market, the greater Toronto real estate market. What we've seen so far here is because of COVID, we actually had very unnatural seasonality, if I can call it that. In real estate, for the most part, what ends up happening is that we have a spring market and then we have a fall market. So usually our spring market starts towards the end of February into March, and then we kind of go on it until end of June-ish, and then July, August kind of calm down a little bit, and then September we see another spike. September, October into November, and it kind of dies out at that point. So the spike in the spring is a lot bigger than the fall one, but this is kind of the way that it works in a normal market. What we saw this year was this, like the market really started off hot right from January. So from January right until middle of March, where everything kind of got shut down, it was really hot. And then when everything got shut down, it basically took 2 months. So from March to April to May, and then May, middle of May, everything started to pick up again, and it really went crazy. And right now we're recording this mid-September 2020. What happened from the middle of May until now is everything has been just nuts. Limited amount of inventory, lots of buyer demand out there. If I can say, we've basically seen prices come back up to the 2017 level where the market actually went down. So a side note is, and I think we've done some videos about this, you can look it up, but April 2017, the market did kind of come down. Nevertheless, we're kind of back at those same numbers. So at an all-time high again, I would say, in the Toronto real estate market. What I've seen now is this, and it is kind of concerning because we are in this pandemic still. There hasn't been a solution. Yeah, cases are still low. The way that the growth has happened, to me, it still kind of doesn't make sense a lot, right? What we've seen here is that we've seen unemployment rates go up, and basically we have recovered employment, but not to the level of where we were before we actually got hit with this pandemic. So overall employment is down. Small businesses are still suffering, and there are a limited amount of people going into these businesses at the same time, whether it is the capacity issue or it is because, people don't feel comfortable still going out there. There is still challenges with businesses, and small businesses are still suffering. Overall, everything seems to be kind of down. The other thing I wanted to kind of say is that with the government offering the CERB, so a lot of people have been on CERB, they're getting the $2,000 a month. And the other thing also is that the banks were allowing people to skip mortgage payments. I believe that was like a 6-month program. I think it was against mortgages, some line of credit cards. I think if you had somewhat of a compelling story, they were able to defer your payments. You did ended up accruing interest on it, but they did defer the payments that you would have to make. The way that I've been describing it to people is because of the CERB and because of the skip a payment kind of deal with the bank, what's happened is that in my opinion, this kind of put a band-aid on the whole situation. Any fallout that would have happened like almost immediately didn't, and it got kind of delayed. And we're still kind of in that process where things are delayed right now. Things are going to change, I believe, because of CERB getting switched over back to the EI program. The banks, their 6-month kind of program is done with skipping payments and whatnot. So people are going to start having to make their payments. And also with unemployment is not back to where it was pre-COVID. These are the challenges I'm kind of seeing. Another one I want to mention also is immigration. So obviously immigration was a part of our population growth in Canada, and it was helping fuel the real estate market for sure, with immigration being down as well. So there's a couple of points here that shows us that, things shouldn't be moving as fast as they are, but they are. What does that lead us into right now? With all of these things happening in the background, what we've experienced is that, inventory was at an all-time low, or not an all-time low, but it was pretty low compared to the buyer demand that was out there. I've been watching inventory on a daily basis since August, beginning of August. And what I've seen from basically the beginning of August to mid-September, let's call it, we've seen the inventory on the Toronto Real Estate Board across the GTA increase by about 1,700 listings available for sale. So it is quite a bit of an increase. So we're around like 18,200, 18,300 listings available for sale. And to put that into context, really, it's about 20,000 listings that we have when we're at an even market. When we were looking at this before, we were at 14,000 listings available for sale. So now we're at 18,200, 18,300, and we've been increasing about 1,000 a month so far. So the last month we had about over 1,000 listings increase. When we get to this 20,000 number, it's going to become more of an even market, and we're not too far away from that if inventory continues to build at the way that it does. I think that we can see ourselves in that position middle of October, towards the end of October, to be around that 19,500, 20,000 listings if it continues to trend the way that it is. And what is that going to do, guys? Obviously, that there's going to be more listings on the market. Buyer demand, I believe, is going to stay the same or it's going to start to trickle off a little bit. And what that's going to do is it's going to lean more towards a buyer's market. I don't want to say it's going to become a buyer's market, but at 20,000 is somewhat of a threshold of being an even market. Would prices be the same? Will they get the crazy prices that they're getting right now? Maybe not. Are houses going to sit on the market a little bit longer? I think so. We started to see some signs of that already starting to happen with the inventory increasing because people have more options at this point. So they're not so desperate and hung up on getting one particular house right now. Overall, what I think what we'll probably end up seeing is that we'll see inventory pick up. We will see buyer demand cool down a little bit just naturally. And then what we'll see is that hopefully we'll just get into it like an even market where it will be even for buyers and sellers to buy and sell real estate. And the strategy will obviously change at that point as well of how you're going to buy and sell real estate. It's already starting to change at this point right now. Another thing I can mention is this. As the inventory increases and this buyer demand equals out, we are going to see more of the influences of like the CERB being cut off, employment, depending on what happens with employment rates, and then not being able to skip a payment program with the banks, and immigration not being where it is. I think these are going to start to play some kind of a role in our market as well. Overall, what could probably end up happening is that I'm not so concerned about people that were buying real estate over the last 6 months or so. I think there could be underlying problems with people that have just been trying to hold on. We've mentioned in these videos before, like Canadian household overall on average, their household debt level was pretty high too. I believe it was about $1.76 for every dollar that was earned. We were already at a very high debt for an average Canadian household. The people that might get affected by this are not the people that have traded real estate in 6 months or a year or so. It might be people that, like I mentioned, are just trying to hold on, and they might be coming close to a point of where they might have to start to sell just in order to continue on. I'm not saying that we might start to see fire sales, but I think that we may see increased inventory from people that are actually really, I don't want to say desperate either, but they need to get out of the house as well to free up their cash and to basically be even on payment. No one really knows where this is going to go. These are just my thoughts on where I kind of see the market right now, some of the influences that are affecting the market right now, and overall where it could go. The one key thing to this is that if buyer demand continues to stay strong and our inventory tightens up, then this thing can keep going. How high? Nobody knows. So nobody really knows where the point of drop off is going to be, but that's kind of the current state, in my opinion, of where the real estate market is. If you guys have any questions about this, feel free to call, text, send me a DM. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this. Leave me a comment. And remember one thing, guys, get Cabani, get sold.
Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold.